safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
There's a tread on the ground and it's not from one of the vehicles. And this is Safari Live.
Ready.
Standing by.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live. Good morning everybody and welcome to hopefully a sunrise safari. There's a bit of thick mist at the moment, clouds above our heads. We can't even see the stars. But of course my name is Taylor and on camera with me today is Jean-Andre. And we are out and about looking for all sorts of weird and wonderful things that we may find out here in the African bush. Now this is a live and interactive safari, so if you do have any questions for myself or Byron or Tristan a little bit later once the sun comes up, you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter and we'll quite happily answer any questions that you have for us. Now Byron, I think, is going to head down towards Cheetah Plains, so he's making his way there now. We're going to slowly start heading towards Arathusa to see if we can follow up on those lions that were seen around the airstrip. Now, yesterday it was a very busy sighting, but hopefully this morning we'll beat the rush and we'll get there before the other guides and their guests have even finished their coffees this morning. So that is going to be the goal for us. But it's very dark today. Much darker than what it was yesterday, and I just suppose we're coming into the middle of winter. Well, we're coming to the middle of autumn now. And it's just going to get darker and darker. Because we find chameleons at night, it doesn't mean we can't find them first thing in the morning. There is one sitting just on the bush willow. Hello, chameleon. How are you? This one is doing a downward facing chameleon pose today. Isn't it beautiful? Now, I'd absolutely love to be able to come back here once the sun has risen to see if we can find this chameleon. But I've tried that before and it proves to be almost impossible to do something along those lines. They really do blend in well during the day, and at night, literally the only way we're able to find them is with a bit of light, and that helps us, of course. Isn't that cool though, to find it first thing? But let's not delay too long. Like I said, I want to get onto Arathusa and get onto those tracks so that I can secure myself a spot in finding the lions. So we're going to keep on doing, we're probably going to race on over there now. But you met Byron during the pre-show, but it's the official show now. So let's jump back on board with him and see what his plans are.
Alright, good morning everyone. My name camera with me this morning is Craig. Now, I've just got to Twin Dams. There are a lot of little scrub hares running around at the moment. Now, I've got down to these twin dams down in the south here. I'm just having a look because I want to see if perhaps there isn't a sign of a little leopard around here, perhaps. But so far, no luck. Now, Taylor's had a lot of luck with chameleons. She's been spotting quite a few chameleons lately. We'll mark it down to age. Her youthful eyes are better than mine. I say it like I'm a lot older than her, but I suppose I am actually. But like to think I'm still very young. Young at heart too. So my plan this morning is to travel across to Cheetah Plains. Get up on the dam wall here quickly. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm going to try our luck on Cheetah Plains to see if we can't find anything around there. maybe some cheetah, maybe leopard activity. With it still being very, very early like this, I'm hoping that we might bump into something just walking in the road. Well, yesterday morning we had tracks of Tingana, that big male leopard, well, who I think was Tingana. I mean, you can never be too sure. But he was moving around, but walked straight through Djuma last night, or early yesterday morning, about 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So we just missed him. Nothing about the cheetah cubs other than they were seen, was it yesterday or the day before? They were seen on the female with all 3 cubs, and they look like they are doing very, very well. But I don't know exactly how old they are. I have not seen them yet, so I'm not sure. Hopefully we'll be able to see them at some point. That would be great, wouldn't it? No luck around here for the moment, and again, this long grass doesn't make it very easy, but you never know, we could still have some luck. Just going to drop down through this dip quickly. Alright, so let me continue making our way towards Cheetah Plains. While I do that, let's head back to Taylor and see how our trip to Arathusa is going.
We're getting there very slowly. I said I was going to race earlier, but then I thought to myself, I better just check a couple of these areas around here, just because we know the sort of pattern of these lines, and often when they do cross, they end up coming towards Impala Plains, the power lines, and even Tingana likes to walk this route sometimes. So we're just having a quick squiz, but we're not far from Arathusa. We'll get there. Promise we'll get there eventually. It just will take a little bit longer. So we're just bumbling at the moment, and I do apologize, my voice is disappearing, which is so unusual because it never disappears. It comes and goes every now and then. But yes, otherwise, other than that, it's a great morning so far. I don't think we're going to get a sunrise though. I think we'll be very lucky. Maybe as it burns through the clouds a little bit later, but for now, I don't even think you can see the clouds. It's still so dark. We've still got all the lights on, shining around. Check here. No, just lots of elephant activity from the last few days. Now I know all of you would love to see the royal family, and we'll try our absolute best. But I feel as though at this point in time it's going to be a miracle if we do see them. It seems as though they're just hanging around in Little Gowrie for the moment. I haven't heard anything on Karula still, but I haven't really heard that the cubs are fine and they're chasing, or trying to do their absolute best at catching squirrels and things. And I'm sure Hosana's eating lots of terrapins, and they're good, they're fine. So if you're worried about them, don't be worried about them. They are big and strong and able to look after themselves, and wherever Karula may be, whether she's mating, whether she's, I don't actually know where she's gone. She's really just having a good holiday and decided that she just needs a break from everything. Now, Michael, you're wondering if it's unusual that they've stayed away from Djuma for so long? No, not really. I don't think so. It's not the first time that they've done something like this. They often go across for a couple of weeks, and we see glimpses of their tracks, and sometimes we see them for, maybe a one sighting, and then they move off again. It'll obviously, things will get back to their routine once Karula decides to come back from wherever she's gone, and then it should get a little bit better. But for now, those little ones will wander about. Apparently they haven't really been seen together. Look at this, a chameleon queen. I'm telling you right now, there's another chameleon just up in the tree there. I don't know why I see them all the time. Well, it's actually quite nice. Maybe we'll break. There we go. You're right on it. Go straight. There we go. It's just so camouflaged that it looks like, right in the middle of the screen. You've on it. Look there. So this is how camouflaged that it really is. You still not see it? There we go. Okay. So another one up in the tree, not quite as big as the first one we just saw. That one was actually quite a monster of a chameleon. This one slightly smaller and covered in dew. Look at that. See how it looks like it's got glitter on its body. It looks like it might be slightly wet, and that's just the reflection of the little water drops that are on its body, or it's just come back from a party of some sort. Who knows? Maybe it was a full moon party. Well, it wouldn't have been a full moon party, but maybe something along those lines. Isn't that cool? Should we see if we can break our record very quickly? What do you think, Jean-Andre? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we're not going to stay with this chameleon because we're going to try and find more chameleons to break our record. Never did I think I'd break it in the morning, but seeing as though we're on 2, we might as well give it a bash. So I've gone 4 in one night since I've been here, but we didn't get to have them on screen just because we had a brilliant hyena sighting. And so maybe we'll get them now. Let me check. They love bush willows. They're always sitting on bush willows. It shouldn't be too difficult. Let's see. So it seems as though Voyatella axis is another good. Come on, chameleon. Now every leaf that I see looks like a chameleon. So I'm going to keep scanning from left to right. Oh, let's put this light on as well. And John Ray has his side to look out at. I don't know. I think I was maybe feeling a little bit arrogant early for a few seconds. We'll see. Maybe I won't do it today. We'll have to check the marula trees as well. I always find my go-to spot is to actually stick the spotlight up into the air and start searching in the marulas. We found many up there before. Is that a small one? Don't think so. No, I don't think shine it. I think I'm going to embarrass myself. That is a leaf that I'm looking at. That's a flower. Now everything that shines a different color other than the color of the leaves, I'm now getting excited about. Let's see. Chameleon. It's lovely and warm though. I don't think we really actually need a jacket at all today. The first warm morning we've had, and that's just because of the cloud cover. Now Hannah, as we drive along looking for chameleons, you're wondering if there's a particular chameleon spotting technique. There is indeed, however, you just need somebody to show you your first chameleon and what you're looking for. So that's why we have to use the lights, because during the day it's impossible to spot chameleons. I know one person, I'm just going to go all the way to the gate, I know one person who has been able to show me numerous chameleons during the day. He is an absolute machine when it comes to spotting them. His name is JV. He's a Shangani gentleman. Brilliant guide. And anyway, so he taught me how to spot chameleons in the Eastern Cape with the southern dwarf chameleon, which there aren't very many of down there, unfortunately. I don't know why there wouldn't be any, because the area that they're in, there's definitely no such thing as habitat loss. There's plenty of space for them to move around, lots of trees for them to hang on. However, you're looking for like a silvery shine that you get off of the chameleons' bodies. And if we find another one, we'll show you again with the spotlight. I'm just seeing lots of moths now. Where are you guys? Come on, one more. 2 more. 2 on 1 tree. There we go, there's another one. Up top there. So Hannah, I'm going to show you where it is. You can actually see it quite easy. Watch as Jean-Andre zooms in. You'll start to see on the top left corner of the tree, there's something shiny. You can see it now. See how it's almost bright yellow with this particular light? Can you see it? And then what we'll do, there's the third chameleon for the morning, is I'm going to take the spotlight away. So don't be alarmed. The screen might go a little bit dark, but just watch what happens. So you can still see it. You actually got a bit of a silhouette. Now watch as I shine over it. See how you get that? It's almost like a reflection. Not a kind of a reflection that you see on the animal's eyes, but it definitely stands out compared to the leaf, and that is what you are looking for. And it does help, especially when a chameleon sits like this above the leaves. It makes it much easier to spot. This is actually very nice, the way that this chameleon is posing for us on this dark, dingy morning. Isn't that cool? You don't look very happy, do you? Not a happy chameleon, this one. Looks like it was trying to blow out its throat a little bit. Right, it's getting light now. We haven't got much more time to complete the challenge. We only need one more. Now I'm feeling a little bit more confident again. Maybe we get it. 3 chameleons on one morning. My goodness. Now remember, this is a live and interactive safari, and if you do want to ask questions like Hannah has just done, you are more than welcome to, about anything. It doesn't just have to be about these animals. If you want to know something about conservation or our opinions on different things out here in the bush, you're more than welcome to. Just hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, and those answers or those questions will be sent through, and then they will feed them to us, which will be quite nice. Now I'm going to go really, really, really slowly. What happens if I get 4 chameleons, though? Do I get an award of some sort? Chandra, what do you think? Can I wear a crown? Chameleon Whisperer title. No, but I'd really like to wear a crown, though. So if someone could please make me a crown, that would be really nice. And I'll just wear it for the rest of my life. I'll shower with it. I'll go on holiday to Australia with my chameleon crown on. I wouldn't be able to take a chameleon with me. I don't think I'd be very, very popular at border control. I always think to myself as I'm traveling, especially with my camera box, because that camera box comes with me, and I always think the amount of button spiders that are in this car, I'm so worried one day something is going to go in there, and I'm going to go on holiday, and they're going to think that I'm intentionally trying to sneak in new insects or spiders and all sorts of things like that. And I suppose that's how something like a round button spider actually got, well, distributed, because I don't know if you know this, but they were originally found in South America and discovered in South America, but they're all over the world, brown button spiders, different variations, and that is just, of course, getting onto the ships and, well, they're being distributed that way, which I found quite interesting. Is that a chameleon or is that a... No, that's a cocoon. Pressure's on. I'm starting to sweat. Now, Michelle, you're wondering if I've ever seen a panther chameleon. I haven't. I'm absolutely desperate to see a panther chameleon. I've watched much footage, videos, seen lots of pictures of them. They're absolutely beautiful. If I'm not mistaken, is the panther chameleon South America or Madagascar? Madagascar. So I'm sure it's Madagascar, because a friend of mine used to tell me about it, and she worked and she still, well, no, she doesn't work there anymore. She recently left, and she used to tell me how beautiful the chameleons and just the small things in Madagascar were. And I was so sad I didn't get an opportunity to go and visit her while she was working there. She did more marine guiding than anything, and then she also did sort of guiding trips through the forests. And she said that was really beautiful. Come on, one more chameleon, just one more. It'd be a itsy bitsy, teeny weeny, not a yellow polka dot bikini, but a chameleon would be better. Don't know if you could add chameleon to the end of that song. Suppose anything's possible, hey Jandre? Come on, we need one more. I'm searching desperately now. We're going to get it, we're going to get it, we're going to get it. Megan, is there much doubt that I'm not going to find this chameleon, or is everybody rooting for me? Good, go team. Let's find this chameleon. Let's break the record. I'd love to find one now to be the cherry on top, walking across the road. Chandra says we should go past the pump house on Arathusa from last night and see if we can find that one. Come on, chameleon. We're going to have to find one. There's such good sort of vegetation here to potentially see them. This is a nice spot. But whether we will... It's getting light. My spotlight's not going to be working for too much longer. Just a little baby one, please. Remember how we were seeing all the little tiny ones on the pieces of grass? They were so adorable. They were not even quite as long as my littlest finger on my hand. Now, we are on Triple M, so if you see the camera bumping around a little bit, it's just because of all the corrugations. I'm trying to avoid them. Oh, that just made me giggle. Fork and Noodles. That's a wonderful name. I love that one. You said, can chameleons change color to any color on the spectrum? No, they actually can't. So the whole change of color thing with chameleons is they can't change color when they want to. So it's a physiological response to the environment. So if they're also feeling stressed and things like that, they will change, and it depends. So if they're stressed, typically with the flap-neck chameleons, they go dark colors. We can go from blacks to sort of, you can go quite light as well. You get dark green. I've seen one that had a bit of red around the throat as well. That was quite spectacular. I can have a photo of that. Was a very, very angry chameleon. Did not enjoy the spotlight on it at all. So we took one photo and then we left it alone. But yeah, no, so they can't change. They can't go purple and pink. Well, not the flap-neck chameleons. I think the panther chameleons are slightly different. They do various colors. So I suppose you could say it depends on the species, really. But down here, we don't see, magnificent transformations. It's not like a rainbow or anything like that. But still pretty cool, though. And last night was quite interesting, the way that those white markings on the chameleons' bodies that you see on all of them, they sort of have that stripe on their belly and then also around closer towards their head. We saw the last night it went lovely bronze color, which was quite beautiful. It made for a very nice contrast. Although the light is, this is the first time in my life I think I've said that I wish it would stay dark, because the spotlight has now stopped doing its job. It's still working a little bit, but just for these bushes that are quite close to the road. But let's see. Come on, guys, nature, we need one more chameleon, and then I will not bother you ever again with trying to beat my chameleon record. Shrimp monsters, you've said go T-bomb. Please be one, please be one, please be one, please be one, please be one. Yes! Is it? Was it a moth? Oh, it's a moth. Oh, that's so disappointing. Oh. Oh no, come on, chameleons. Just this one time. I think this is going to torment me for most of my life, trying to put 4 on camera in one go. We'll get it eventually. Who knows, maybe we find a tree with 3 chameleons on it and then we just go for, well, the real prize. Well, it's good as long as I'm still sort of spotting moths and things. That's good. That gives me a little bit of hope, because a chameleon I find is a little bit easier to spot than a tiny little moth. Though you can see amazing things with the spotlight. You can even spot spiders in the grass or insects on the ground, just from the reflection of all their eyes. It actually works quite well. Now, the reason why I quickly came down Triple M as well as we scanned for chameleons is because this is a known area for shadow. And a couple of times Tristan and James, they've all found her. First thing, let me just quickly scan here. I thought I saw something. No, that's a leaf. Oh no, I got a bit excited there again. So yeah, so it would be nice to absolutely bump into shadow or something along those lines. Or Tingana. Actually, any leopard, in fact, I'd be very much excited to see. Nope, another leaf. Baby chameleons, where are you? Oh, no, this is very bumpy. I don't know which side to look, and this is my problem always, is you have to sort of dedicate yourself to looking at one side, but I feel like today the pressure is on, and I can't afford to miss any trees. What do you think about there, in that tree? I'm going off-road. There's something, I'm going to poke my nose off-road here. We have to. There's something in the middle of that tree, but we don't know. We'll have a look with a camera. Ah, yellow flowers. No, what's the one at the... No, there are. Ah, yellow flowers. You actually see it much better. Megan, our director is giving me an update about Byron. So apparently Byron hasn't got the greatest signal at the moment. I think he's going through all those gremlin spots. Let's see, Chameleon. Also, the other cars are just starting to get active now, which is quite nice. So the more eyes and ears that are out, the better chance we have of finding some animals. Oh, I can't believe we've still got the spotlight out. This is amazing. Right, we're going to see if we can find another chameleon, and hopefully we can put one more up. But for the meantime, while I search desperately, Byron's made it to Cheetah Plains. Let's go and see if he's picked up on any interesting tracks.
Thanks, Taylor. No, not yet. No tracks just yet, but we are on Cheetah Plains. So let's see, what little bird is that in the road? Let's see if we can identify that little guy. It looks like a bunting. It is indeed. Cinnamon-breasted bunting. There we go. Beautiful little bird. A cinnamon-breasted bunting. Beautiful light brown color down the front, and that's how it gets the name cinnamon-breasted bunting. So we haven't had any luck just yet. Taylor has been doing very, very well spotting chameleons. I'm so impressed. I'm going to blame the spotlight, I think, this morning. That's the spotlight's fault. It's definitely not my fault. What do you think, Craig? Now, as I was saying, it's a very overcast morning. So a lot of cloud cover at the moment, but they seem to be high clouds. I don't think we're going to get any rain. Hopefully not. But we'll see. We'll see. There was a slight drizzle, so I don't know if it's going to rain later. But often what happens is the weather changes a lot, or changes drastically, by about 8 o'clock in the morning here in the bush. So I always wait till about 7, 8 o'clock before I decide what the weather's going to be like for the day, because I've gone out where it's been clear skies in the morning, and within an hour the clouds come over and it starts raining, and vice versa. It's now getting to that just that awkward phase of light where it's not quite dark enough for the spotlight and not quite light enough without the spotlight. So, but we'll see. Maybe we see that caracal that Taylor found the other day. Now, Abigail, this area that we're on now, this used to belong to Djuma, in fact, and if I'm not mistaken, the Cheetah Plains Lodge used to be Djuma Bush Lodge. I think that's what it was. But it is now, it was sold off, and now new owners took over, and it's called Cheetah Plains. And the reason it's called Cheetah Plains, I believe, is because they've got beautiful plains and open clearings, and I think there were cheetah that was seen a few times, so they just decided to name it Cheetah Plains. And Elephant Plains was taken. That's another lodge in the area, so maybe that's why. A lot of the areas try and name, or the lodges try and name themselves after prominent animals that occur in the area, perhaps. And I'm trying to think. Now, I hope I don't get this wrong. I think Singita means place of magic. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'll double check that. But I think Singita is place of magic. Londolozi is protector of all living things. Mala Mala, I think, is sable. I think that's what Mala Mala is, sable. And then Djuma, I'm actually not sure what Djuma means. If any of you have an idea, I can't remember if Djuma means anything. That's terrible. I do apologize. I should have known Djuma. I'm not sure. What else then? Cheetah Plains, Arathusa. That was some of the lodges are just named after the old farm areas that was split up once this land was being sold off in the early 1900s. Were given farm names, and some of them still have those names, like Arathusa. No, I don't think we need the spotlights anymore. We're approaching a dam, so I'm hoping there might be a little bit of activity around there. Let's have a look. John, you'd like us to find 17 birds today. You'd need to get to 100 on your bird list. Well, hope you got that cinnamon-breasted bunting. Also, I'm not sure what is on your list already, but let's see what we can do. Well, okay, let's try to do a bit of birding today. Get my binoculars out. Alright, there's a red-crested coron that is calling close to us, but in the long grass, and I doubt we will be able to find it because of the long grass at the moment. What have we got around here? There's a blacksmith lapwing sitting on the edge of the water. I can hear button quails calling in the distance. It's often very good just to sit and listen, especially close to waterholes. You might hear animals coming through to drink. There's some Egyptian geese. Perhaps hear lions calling, or hyena. Maybe a leopard territorial call. Nothing for the moment other than the booming sound or the Liz, you say that Djuma is the name for the sound that the lion makes when it roars. So that roaring sound is what Djuma means. That's interesting. Now I'm just trying to think. I remember another word that we used to use, vomba. I think was also the sound a lion makes, that roar. So it's interesting. It's a pity James is away now. His Shangaan and Zulu is much better than mine, because often what happens is in certain areas they would use, especially up here, they would use a Zulu word and not the Shangaan word. Now that got very confusing because Shangaan is predominantly spoken in this area, but the people that used to come up, a lot of the people from Johannesburg that came up and worked, or that bought land in these areas and started naming places, they spoke Zulu, so they used Zulu words, which became very confusing. So I wonder if there's not a bit of confusion between the Zulu and the Shangaan names there, but we'll try and find out. Unfortunately, James is in India at the moment. I see some people out on safari at the moment. Now Tristan's out on bushwalk. Let's go say hi to him and we'll see you a little bit later.
Good morning everybody and welcome to our sunrise safari bushwalk this morning. My name is Tristan and on camera today I've got VM the Wildebeest, and we're getting out on this rather grey, rather sort of miserable morning. There's a bit of drizzle around. It's not too heavy, but it's still a little bit around, and it's a very different feel to what it was this time yesterday morning. Yesterday morning was a beautiful morning with the sunrise, but this morning is a little bit more grey and overcast. Now, I believe you were chatting about the name Djuma and where it comes from. Well, I was chatting to Rex, and there's probably no better person to speak to than Rexon about this, but he says that there's a miscommunication, and they say that it is, well, on the website and places like that, they'll say it's the call of the lion or the roar of the lion, but in actual fact, Djuma in the language here means to stalk. So, as it would be, as in a lion was stalking prey. So that's the actual kind of meaning of the word, but in terms of the lodge, it was the call of the lion, and that's why the logo is a little lion, well, not a little lion, but a big male lion. So there we go, that clarifies all of that. Now, we're going to head out and try and see what we can find this morning. I think with these sort of rainy, overcast conditions, we're going to find that our insect life is going to be very, very limited this morning. We probably won't find too much of that. Birds will be quite good because a lot of the birds will be down on the trees, but we also had baboons alarm calling this morning early, so Rex and myself and VM all heard it. So we're going to go try and see what they were calling about. They were around WildEarthTV camp. So what we'll probably do is just do a big loop around the camp and see if maybe we can find some sort of tracks somewhere around here and figure out where they were actually watching, because generally it's quite difficult with baboons. They see so far and they sit so high up that they can see a long way away, but hopefully there'll be some sort of tracks that we can see that they were alarm calling and find out what it actually was. Now, I know yesterday Herbie heard a leopard calling sort of the central parts of Djuma, but we didn't find anything for that, so maybe it's that leopard again, maybe it's Karula. We live in hope, as the royals still have not returned yet to the screens, so we'll hopefully find them again today, which will be nice. It's good weather for the movement of cats this morning. You won't find that they'll be lying up too early. It's sort of overcast, so perfect for them to be moving around a little bit later than normal, which is good. Now, the first thing I've noticed as well, is being up on quarantine, is that our wildebeest herd is not here, which is quite strange because last night when I drove past here, our wildebeest herd was all lying in this area where we are now. Lots and lots of impalas as well, and there's not a single animal here, which means potentially something has walked through here that has disturbed everybody. Maybe there's been lions that have walked through here, and that's why everybody's gone. It's much like the other day when the zebra was attacked. When we got back, when we came out that morning, the only zebra that was here was that one that was injured. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe the wildebeest have moved off and if there's any sign of predators. Alright, so while we go and investigate and see what we can find, let's go back to Taylor and see how her chameleon challenge is going. I think she might be running out of time a little bit, but you never know, maybe she can pull one more out the hat.
Oh, not yet. I've been searching desperately, and can you believe that I've still got the spotlight in my hand? I don't think I've ever quite had a spotlight out this long. But we will, because it sounds like Sean has just managed to locate the lions on the airstrip, and we're not very far from there, so he's called us in. I think we're well deserving of seeing some lions today after it was very, very full sighting yesterday, and I'm actually kind of glad because it sounds like they're on the move as well. Just spotted the windsock spotlight. Sorry, chameleon challenge. Till next time. It's okay. We're getting better and better, and we're putting more and more up on screen, so maybe one day we'll beat the 3 and I shall show you all 4. We'll try again this evening though. Oh no, this evening I'm on bushwalk, so I won't be able to show you this evening, but we'll try the next day. But it's perfect chameleon condition with the clouds overhanging. Maybe we'll go back to some of those trees that we saw them in and see if we can spot them during the day. But let's not waste any time. Let's quickly head to the airstrip. We're not far now. Now, I just don't know. They said the quarry. Do you know where the quarry is? Down this side. If anything, I thought it was down right towards the southern boundary. So let's go. I'm going to check here. There they are. And goes Ryan. We'll follow Ryan. I think then he'll probably lead us to the sighting. He's also on his way there. So now I think what we're going to do, we are going to put foot though, because I don't know where these lions are exactly. I don't know how close to the boundary they are. We might have to view them from a distance if they are on their way out, but hopefully we get them. It's very quiet on the airstrip. Normally there's plenty of impala, zebra. The only things that are out at the moment, I can hear some lapwings, and that's about it. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep following Sean. Hopefully he's going. Hang on. I think the sighting is right here. Let's quickly, if we can have a look at these lions. I see Sean's vehicle just 20 meters ahead of us. They're in the quarry. Okay. This is interesting. A new spot. I didn't know that this existed. Hello, lions. I can see them. Here we go. Right, let's go around. I'm going to try and find a little gap because we've got a camera. So I'm going to zoom past the vehicles and we're going to take this little gap over here. This is what's quite nice about having a zoom. Ah, that is lovely. There we go. So we won't have a look at the boys just yet, but we will get to them eventually. But we've got one of the Styx lionesses with her 2 cubs. This is actually a great spot in here. All the quarry has collected quite a good amount of water. They look like they've already had a drink. They've got very wet chins, or very muddy chins at the moment. Oh no, the Styx are funny looking lions, unfortunately. They're not pretty like the Nkuhumas. But those cubs don't look too bad. They look like they've got full bellies. Little bit mangy, but not too mangy just yet. You can still see their ears are in relatively good nick. They always seem to be just a little bit patchy behind the elbow. So maybe these 2 have got a chance. Quite exciting. Hello, little ones. Let's have a good look at them when they stand up. Yes, they're actually not looking too bad. And this one has got exceptional eyes, don't you think? Beautiful yellow eyes. Yeah, there's something in my mouth that didn't taste very nice. Now, there's also 2 Birmingham boys here. I haven't been able to see who exactly they are just yet, but we will at some point we'll get a better view. Hello, little one. Now, I haven't even been able to see if they're male or female, these 2 young cubs. I've only seen them very briefly, a few times. And most of the time it's always been just before the sun sets, too. Now, consulting detective, you were actually wondering if we knew the sex of the cubs. No, we don't. I don't know. But we'll try and have a look today, seeing as though it's not going to get darker, it's going to get lighter. And then we'll have to see. Come on, little one, stand up. Let's see if we get a good view. Are you a little girl or are you a little boy? She looks like it could be a female. It's obviously quite difficult at this age. They're only a few months old. So the older they get, the easier it'll become. I think this one just looks quite female-like. I could be mistaken. Very curious, and I think looking at the big male, you know what lions are like. The little ones, they always want to hang around with the boys. Yes, that is a little girl with a big belly like that. I cannot see any parts that would make it a boy, so there we go. One girl. Big full belly. You can see the belly though is a little bit scraggly. Not the greatest looking. You can see a little bit of hair loss. But they're looking good. They really are looking healthy though. And licking like that, grooming, is a very good way to, of course, try and get rid of something like a bit of mange. Is keeping it nice and clean. And we've seen the Nkuhumas come back from it. Those cubs looked terrible at one point, and they didn't let that stop them. So possibly this may be the litter of Styx that make it. But it is tough for them, because most of the females have the mange, so as soon as they're born, they're being exposed to it, and that's obviously quite harsh for them at such a young age. Not having built up the immunities, not having all the different, first even the bacteria in its stomach to help fend off viruses and all that type of thing. So they're definitely a little bit more susceptible when they are young. But how's that pose? Big belly, legs out. That is very funny. Have you ever seen a stomach so full? Now, Stephen, you're wondering if they'll drink the muddy water that's behind them. They will indeed. I haven't noticed lions to be particularly picky when it comes to the type of water that they're drinking. Elephants seem to be the ones that prefer the clean water, and we've actually been seeing it quite a bit in the Mulwati. They've all been digging up holes, and you see the beautiful crystal clear upwellings of water that are coming through the sand. Lions, not so much. And yes, you could see that it was muddy, particularly on the female. She had a very brown chin. But that's all right. They're used to, when they do drink or when they do eat, they eat a lot of grit, a lot of sand, soil, and it doesn't seem to bother them too much. Obviously in small quantities. You wouldn't want to eat a kilogram of sand, otherwise you'd find yourself in a bit of trouble. Now, even with this full belly, that lion instinct is now starting to kick in. I think you are so full you can barely move, trying to stalk. Bit difficult to stalk when your stomach drags along the bottom of the ground. But luckily, sibling is also grooming itself. Now they're going to play. I hope they do play. We haven't seen playing lions for a very long time. Now, William, you're wondering if lions get hairballs. They do indeed, exactly like your cats at home, from grooming themselves, from when they're eating as well. They often ingest quite a bit of hair. So that's why you'll see them munching away on grass, because grass helps induce vomiting, and in that way they're able to cough up those hairballs. But you do see a lot of it. Look at those bellies. I can't believe it. I don't know what they ate, and I obviously didn't see them. I haven't seen them for quite some time. I know Tristan saw them, and I think they'd killed a warthog, but they killed a warthog 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. So they must have caught something else. I mean, they look really, really fat. It's either that or Mom's Milk is doing a really great job at the moment. This is really amazing. But now they're just having a little rest. That little one, though, is on the inquisitive side, venturing closer and closer to one of the Birminghams. And once one of the other guards move out, we'll try and take a better spot. It's quite difficult to see from one of the other angles. But I can only suspect that it'll be Tinyo and Mfumo that are here with the Styx pride. It was Tinyo mating with one of the lionesses. But I haven't seen the other one. I've only seen... Did you also only see one when we came in? Which is unusual, because I don't think it's this female mating with the boy, so I don't know where the other lioness has gone. Maybe she's just sitting in front of the other car. Yes, you two play around. Act like little cubs, please. I think the reason why they look so lethargic at the moment and they can't move is really just because they've got those big bellies that are bursting at the seam. Let's see, and we'll try and also be able to see what the sex is of this one that is now grooming itself. That is just the funniest position that they're sitting in. Now, Skip, you're wondering when the male lions will get their manes. So, Skip, it's actually quite a cool thing to watch if you follow the prides of lions, because they start to develop very hairy sort of chest and neck. And you can normally start to see that at about between, I'd say about 8 months and a year. You start to see that a little bit. Oh, here comes the big Birmingham. That's why they're staring. That looks like Tinyo. Let's just see. He's going to his brother. Oh no, there's the other lioness. Ah, I thought there were two Birminghams. Maybe I've got mistaken and there's just the one female. I also can't see what you're looking at now. When I look at that lioness, I just see a tail sticking out from behind the car. That must be Tinyo then. Maybe there's not two Birminghams. Okay, going to sit nice and close to her, and of course they have been mating. So Skip, but let me go back to the main question. It doesn't just develop overnight, it takes a very, very long time. So even when you look at the Birmingham boys, Tinyo and Mfumo are really just getting their proper manes now, but it has taken quite some time. So it starts growing from a young age, and really only once they get to about 6 years old, maybe even 6.5 years old, do they really have a full set of hair. And at the biggest that it will get. But Nena, I think, has got... Nena and Tsuku have got the two most impressive manes out of the Birmingham boys. Yes, come, fatty. Come and play next to us. Must be a bit difficult, as you can see, moving around on all that unlevel ground. It looks like that mud is quite hard as well. Yes, now stalk your sister. Oh, there we go. Now we might be able to see if it's a girl or a boy. No, not yet. Push them into the water. That's what I always love. One day I want to see that when two little ones are playing about and they push each other accidentally into a puddle. Oh. Not quite an Nkuhuma battle. Those little cubs were very rough. But again, I think it's maybe because they're just so full at the moment that they really don't have the energy to eat. That one also looks very girl-like. Is it, or it could be a little boy? I can't tell just yet. There could be a... Yeah. Oh. What do you think, Jeandre? I think it looks like a girl. I think we've got two little girls here. Now, Dr. Rob, you were wondering how many lions make up the Styx Pride. So, Dr. Rob, it was actually quite sad when I first started working here. There were 3 lionesses and there were 8 cubs. But unfortunately, none of those 8 cubs made it due to the fact that they all got almost sarcoptic mange. It looked like they were completely burnt, if I can only describe it. There was not an ounce of hair left on their bodies. And unfortunately, like I was saying, at a young age, it is something very, very difficult to overcome. It was also during the peak of the drought, so the animals, the buffalo that they were feeding on, didn't have the greatest nutrients. Remember, we saw 2 of the Nkuhuma cubs die of the white muscle disease. And so far, it's the 3 females, these 2 new cubs, and then I believe that there's another set of 2 as well with one of the other lionesses. But when you're out in the bush and your bellies are quite full, sometimes a ball of elephant dung makes for the best toy. Oh, that's not that great. That is a crumbly piece of elephant dung. You never want to eat a crumbly piece of elephant dung. And we're going to hang around here for a little bit longer. There are going to be lots of guards that are going to come to the sighting, but we'll probably be able to see them once more. But let's go across to Byron, who's got something that these lions might like to eat.
The lions do enjoy hunting the wildebeest, Taylor. Now, I'm on the clearings at Cheetah Plains. I've been searching high and low for any sign of the cheetah, but no sign just yet. Hang on, what's walking over there? Look to the left. Hyena, there we go. There we go, look at that. There's a hyena. Oh, great. Just cruising along. So as I was saying, no sign of the cheetah just yet, but isn't this a nice surprise? Just a rather large hyena that's just popped out. This shows you if you sit and wait for a while, things do start happening around you. See, hyena spotted the wildebeest. Now, a lone hyena like this would not be able to hunt wildebeest like that. They'd be too fast and too strong for it. But we do know the hyena do hunt for themselves. This one is probably walking around trying to scavenge, though. That's a great shot, though. Look at that typical African scene. Hyena walking through a clearing like this. Their behavior is very strange when they are looking for food. They'll just walk randomly and change direction at times, but the whole time they just try to pick up on any sound or sign that there's another predator that they might be able to chase off a kill, especially something like a leopard. A female leopard, for example, this hyena would most likely be able to chase off her kill so that he can steal whatever it is that she's worked hard to get, and it'll be able to feed on that kill. With larger carcasses, and especially if there are lion prides around, hyena will often go and if they're a group of them, if they outnumber the lions, they'll be able to chase the lions off. So if a hyena like this manages to find a carcass like that, would often do that whooping call that they do. Oh, there we go. Maybe thought I was a hyena. And what they would do is then call one another. And then once they all join in the area, then they'll be able to try and chase their prey off. Now, Kim, that hyena, I don't think it's limping. It doesn't look like it. They've got a very strange gait. Now, the gait is a term we use for the way in that they walk. Now, the hyena have longer front legs than back legs, so their backs do slope slightly. It's just disappearing back there. So the backs do slope slightly, so longer front legs. The reason for that is they need the power in the front legs to carry that big heavy neck and head. There's a lot of muscle, there's a lot of bone, covered in spiderwebs, a lot of muscle, a lot of bone around their head, and it's very, very heavy, so they need those powerful front legs to be able to carry that weight. And so they've got an interesting gait, the way they walk, but I don't think that was limping at all. Let's see what else pops out. Those wildebeests are still in the clearing ahead of us. Now what does help is if these herbivores that are out in the clearings, if they spot any potential danger or predators, they will alarm call, and that is one way that we are able to find the predators then. But it's interesting. Now, those wildebeest possibly saw that hyena from that distance. There was one or two snorts from the wildebeest, but nothing too serious. But why I say it's interesting is because these animals act or react differently to different predators. So a lot of the animals, if they do see hyena, they might alarm call once or twice, but they know there's actually no serious threat for the moment. These animals would be able to run away from a hyena very, very quickly. But if it was a lion or a leopard, or not really cheetah, I mean the wildebeest don't really mind cheetah also because the wildebeest are so big. Only if the wildebeest calves around, a cheetah might go for that. But lion and leopard they would alarm call at, and the reason for that is also to draw as much attention to them as possible so that those predators decide to move off. Wild dog, the wildebeest don't really alarm call at wild dog. I've seen them stand their ground many times against wild dog and chase them off. So it's interesting how animals react differently. With the impala too, the impala will alarm call at predators like lion and leopard, but often walk towards them and stand their ground and have a look, because they don't want to give those predators the opportunity to ambush them. Whereas with wild dog and cheetah, the impala will often alarm call once or twice and they run. They do not stick around, because those predators, they rely on their speed and running down their prey. So it's very different hunting strategies, and the animals, the herbivores, definitely recognize that, and they react differently depending on what predator it is. And I find that very fascinating. So just like these wildebeest alarm called once or twice at that hyena, they possibly saw it is a hyena by itself, no real danger, no real threat, and they stayed in the area. I think we're going to continue now from here. Let us just consulting detective, getting to your question while we're still here with the wildebeest. You want to know if the wildebeest have a rutting season or mating season like the impala. They do indeed. So very soon these wildebeest are going to start mating too. It's also around April, May. And the males, what happens is the males will form a territory for themselves, and then hopefully get a herd of wildebeest, herd of females to stay in that area, and that dominant male will try and mate with as many of the females as he can. And then we know that all the calves are born around December, January, as we saw only a few months ago. So they do indeed have a breeding season, the wildebeest, or mating season. Okay, I'm going to move on from here and head towards the Kruger boundary. Let's go and have a look what is out there. Let's head back to Tristan, still out on walk, and let's see what he's up to and what he's managed to find.
Well, at the moment we're just walking around trying to find anything really, Byron, and looking for any signs of any fresh tracks to look at, as well as admiring a beautiful sunrise. At some point there the clouds separated and the sun just came out and there was that orange glow in the sky that Fiam was showing you. But what has struck me in the last sort of few months of being at Safari Live is that there is one plant out here that seems to be a hive of activity. So every time you go past one of them, there seems to be something on them. Now these Waltherias, which is this little plant here with the little sort of velvety leaves and these small yellow flowers, there is always something on these guys. Now you can actually see I put a spider on me now. Let's put the spider back on the grass, we don't want that on me. But this is exactly what my point was going to be, is that I would love to know how many spiders or different species of spiders we've seen on Waltherias, because personally I think I've probably seen at least 10 different species utilizing the Waltheria, and the reason why they're doing it is probably because of the flowers that are on here, and which attracts the multitude of other insects. So you can see there's another spider here that is busy making its, well, it's made its web and it's folded the leaf up a little bit for protection so that it can hide away from predators, and then it's got that little web there that it's able to catch things that come and try and land on the leaf to feed off these flowers over here. Now, like I say, on this plant alone, we've seen multiple different species of caterpillars, we've seen multiple different species of butterflies, we've had assassin bugs, we've had spiders, we've had all kinds of little beetles. So it really is quite incredible how this plant has been such a provider of food, whether you are a herbivorous or sort of nectar feeding animal, or if you are a predator like the spiders, which is quite amazing. So really, really cool. Now I'm not sure exactly what spider that is. It's very difficult to see. It's kind of at an oblique angle, and with the web over the top of it is not that easy, but I would imagine that it's one of the garden spiders would be my guess, but I'll have to check it out and have a look. And it's interesting how most of the spiders that use this Waltheria, so the sac spiders are another one, they all fold that leaf and make this kind of cone shape that they can get in underneath the web and stay out of the way of lots of predators. So it's been amazing to watch sort of the development of these Waltherias, and I think what's happened is as we've gone on, the Waltherias kind of stopped flowering, and then they died off a little bit, and then we got that late rain again, and all of them spruced up and insects back onto them again, and starting to see small little caterpillars on them, like James found that one time and was growing out. So quite amazing. Chris, you're wondering if there are any carrion plants around. Well, I haven't seen any so far on my walks. I have looked out for them, but I haven't seen any. Generally, the carrion plants that I've seen in the Sabi Sands, 90% of them are planted inside the lodges, so they're in the gardens of the lodges, but there should be some around. I just haven't seen any. I have looked for them, but nothing that I can find. The thing about a carrion plant is generally it will start to flower late winter, so you'll find that in the winter time, or late winter, just before the spring starts, is when you start getting that smell coming, and the flies then starting to land on that smelly little flower that they have. It's quite a pungent smell. I don't know if you've ever smelt one, Chris, but it is quite vile. It smells just like a rotting carcass, and that's where it gets its name from. That carrion name comes from that rotten smell that the flower gives off to attract flies to pollinate the flower itself. Right, so we're going to carry on, see what else we can find on this beautiful morning, and while we do that, let's go across to Byron and see what he's up to on Cheetah Plains.
So I'm trying to find some birds for you. I think it was John this morning who was saying, was it John who said he wanted to tally up some birds? Now, unfortunately, these little birds are jumping around there was a black-crowned shagger. I'll just move one of my favorite calls in the bush. Let's see, it might. There it goes. Ah. They don't sit still and they fly from tree to tree, but quite low, or bush to bush. Let's see, just listen out for that call. There's a chin spot batters calling. Obviously, the black-crowned shagger is not calling now. Typical. But it's got a beautiful call. Something like that. Let's see what else we can find there. There's a lot going on here. Like I said, the chin spot batters are also calling. James always shouts at me for this, but it's been known to sound like 3 blind mice. Three blind mice, maybe not. Don't tell James, because he gets very upset. I said to Craig now that I think we need to find a pangolin. I think that's what we haven't had any leopard luck just yet, so I think we should just go for pangolin. Try and find a pangolin this morning. While I'm driving, also just listening very carefully to the bush, trying to hear if I don't hear something walking through the long grass, rustle or hear calling maybe. It's still quite early and cool, so the predators should still be active, should still be moving around. I haven't seen any tracks this morning yet. Oh no, 2 little sandgrouse. There's 2 little sandgrouse that just took off there. Would have been nice to see them. But you see them, they're very well camouflaged, so it's difficult to see them at times. Stanley, you wanted to know how many pangolin have I seen in the last 10 years. So Stanley, up until 2013, and I'd been going to the bush for many years, for 20 odd years, and up until 2013 I'd never seen a pangolin before, never. And then I saw my first pangolin on Londolozi, 2013. And then when I left and I started my own business and been doing the private guiding and that, and I also went and helped out at a lodge called Tswalu, which is in the Kalahari. Beautiful area, very different to this, completely different. Started guiding there, and since I've been there, I think I've seen between 10 and 15 pangolin, somewhere around there, in the last two years probably. The pangolin viewing there is very good. There's never a guarantee though, but it's probably the best place to go if you are looking to try and see pangolin. They regularly have pangolin sightings, but it is never a guarantee. Not with those animals, not at all. But yeah, probably 10 or 15 pangolin. Once actually found something incredibly rare. While we were tracking pangolin one morning, looking around, and we got off and we were following the tracks. Because of the sandy soil, it's easy to track, and I heard the sounded like scales rubbing together, and walked around a bush and found a pair of pangolin mating, which is incredibly rare. It was amazing. So that was a really special sighting. But yeah, it's very difficult to find pangolin, and you need to go to specific areas, I think, if you are looking for them. Let's head back to Taylor, who's got lions, and let's see if there's any mating activity still going on between those two, male and female, that were there.
Not just yet, we're still waiting. However, I'm starting to doubt myself as to which male lion this is. This is definitely not Tinyo, and hopefully he'll look at us so we can get a view. I haven't decided if it is Nena or Nsuku just yet. We haven't had the greatest view, but he is snuggled up to the other lioness, and he was actually grooming her just a moment ago. But now, have a little listen to the sounds coming from the cubs. Little ones are complaining and trying to suckle. Have a little listen. Now that's a sound we haven't heard in quite some time. Cheryl, now you're wondering what is the survival rate of these cubs. Cheryl, at the moment it's a little bit difficult, of course, to even try and get you an answer, just because these cubs in particular have so many obstacles against them, and the main one being the fact that their mothers have mange. She's not interested in the cubs today, so that's a little bit of a problem, of course, which makes it that much more difficult. But typically the first 6 months of a lion's life is the hardest, and normally if they make it to 6 months they've got a better chance, and then if they get to about 2 years it's a really relatively good chance. Now the cubs are really fat, so I don't know if they've just been drinking milk, because the adults don't seem to be too fat. But she's a scarred lioness. She looks like she's been in a couple of battles, a couple of cuts on her eyes, but leading the cubs past the cars now. Don't you jump on that male lion, you're going to find yourself in a bit of trouble. This little one over here is very brave and just trying to give this boy a little bit of love, but he's not interested. But they've got the most gorgeous eyes, the Styx cubs. Definitely a completely different coloration from the Nguhuma cubs. They've got lovely, well, let's see, this one's eyes are a little bit more yellow. Turn and look at us, please, so we can see your beautiful eyes. Come on. How scruffy they are. Yeah, so both of them seem to have almost amber eyes, the same coloration of eyes that amber eyes does. And it is absolutely lovely, like a hazelnut color, if you will. It really, really, really is beautiful. Now, Mom is actually moved off. I think she's hungry. I think she wants to go and look for something to eat. And I did see a couple of impalas starting to come along onto the airstrip. So we'll see what she does with her cubs and where she leaves them. And I'll just keep an eye out on her. But it might be fun to actually watch her. These two, however, won't be too interested in feeding at the moment, as this is our honeymoon couple. Let's see what she's going to do. She's just disappearing over the edge. Or she could be just going to look for a bit of shade, maybe find her spot for the morning. I'm just trying to get organized with all the cables around here. I don't have a look. Try and turn around quickly. Yes, naughty. They naughty look. Very, very, very naughty looks on their faces. Don't worry, I'm not going to drive over you. I'm just coming a little bit closer. It's okay, relax. Oh, the little cub's a little bit nervous. We're sitting at very strange angles in the quarry. Of course, there's nothing flat and nothing level in here. So that little cub is obviously just a little bit on the shy side when it comes to the cars. The other one doesn't mind so much, but you often find that with the various animals, they've all got different traits. Some are a little bit more relaxed and some aren't. And of course that Lioness and the big Birmingham had got a fright just because the cub got up and ran straight into them. But isn't this wonderful? I think the Lioness has left her cubs with this lot. Now, Rakesh, you're wondering. Hang on, this is actually really sweet. There we go. Who is this? Is this Nana or is this Nsuku? I think it is Nsuku. Look at the lovely golden eyes. I don't see that very prominent equal scar that is on Nana's nose, so I think that this is indeed Nsuku. But if I am mistaken, please let me know. Hashtag Safari Live. I just haven't seen Nsuku for such a long time. So, sorry, Megan, may I please have the question again from Rakesh? Where did that lion cub go? It's gone behind us. It's naughty. Rakesh, you're wondering, when do lions hunt for food? Is it weekly? It actually depends. Now, I'm looking over my shoulder because that is going to be amazing. There's a little... Should we reposition, Genre? Or are we gonna, I think we're going to get the aerial. Sorry, Rakesh, there's so much action, but this little cub is climbing up on a fallen leadwood, an old leadwood, which is actually beautiful. And hopefully his sibling is going to go and run over there too. This is lovely. I'm the king of the world. I'm the queen of the world, I should say. So, Rakesh, if they could hunt every single day and they were successful enough, they definitely would do so. However, unfortunately, the big cats don't have the most successful hunting strategies. So if they can catch something, they typically want it to be as large of an animal as possible so that they can feed off of it for a few days. And then from there, if they can get something every third or fourth day, that would be absolutely wonderful. But isn't that such a stunning shot? Little one, curious, going exploring. And again, now you can see the two different personalities. This is the bold, adventurous type, whereas the other one is a little bit more skittish. Oh, this is so beautiful. Now, Caitlin, you're wondering at what age will these cubs leave their moms and go venturing for food? Caitlin, they actually become quite curious. Normally from I find it about 6 months old, they seem to think that they're the biggest cats in the bush. And they go and do their own things. Just disappearing behind the car. This one's very bold. So it's quite hard to say, but they start joining in on the hunts at about 1.5 years. They do watch from a distance from about 1 year. We've actually seen the most amazing sighting of the Nkuhuma cubs partaking in, trying to bring down a buffalo calf. The adults, the lionesses, actually just sat and watched them and let them climb all over it. And the cubs were anywhere between about 4 and 7 months. So that was quite exciting. I'd never seen anything like that before. And I reckon this little one over here is going to be very much an adventurous little lion. And probably go off and chase squirrels and birds and those types of things as often as it can. Whether it will catch one of them or not, probably not. As I think they've got a long way to go before they've really, completed their stalking and pouncing techniques. But the other sibling now is laying as flat as it can. And I think we're going to see a little pounce happen. Come on. No, I'm just going to look at you now. Thank you. So I think most of you have said that you reckon that this isn't Nsuku. I think so. Well, when he walked across the frame earlier, I didn't really get to see him. And Tinyo and Mfumo's manes have also started to fill out quite a bit now. And so it often becomes quite difficult if you don't get a front-on view. He's actually got quite scarred now. If you remember the last time we saw Nsuku, he was beautiful and clean. He had the most gorgeous face. And now he seems to have a couple of little scratches on his nose. So that could be from many different things. It could be mating with lionesses, or it could just be scrapping around a carcass. but nothing too serious. Nowhere near as scarred as what Mfumo is. He's the most gorgeous lion to photograph now, with that cut coming down his eye. But this is absolutely lovely. Now, I'm sitting here all by myself. I don't know if anybody else wants to come to the sighting. I haven't heard anyone calling me just yet, but that also may mean that I don't have communication with the other guides. But in a moment, we're actually going to leave this lot, and I'd love to go and figure out where that lioness has gone. She looked thin. She didn't look like she'd eaten anything for quite some time. And especially with 2 young cubs, she's going to ignore the mating pair, who the last thing that they want to do is eat. And she'll have to go off and find her own food so that she can keep producing milk for these little ones. The other 2 don't have that obligation. And they can go with food for a little bit longer. There we go. I love the way that they start to stalk, head dropping down towards the ground. Come on, do a big leap. You guys haven't done any big jumps for us today. And edging, no. These 2 are not the greatest at hunting just yet, as you've seen. I don't know if they really know what they're doing just yet, or if it's because of their full bellies that they are reluctant to play around. Funny little things, lions, especially when they're this age. See, they're looking for something to entertain them in the water, whether it's going to be a terrapin or a frog. They might splash around. Oh, lovely. Look at that happy tail wagging. Ooh, look at me. I always think when they do that, that's what they're saying. They're showing off. Ah, there's another car coming now. That's great. They'll be able to control the sighting then. But fast asleep. And this is it though, with this mating pair, it is good that the time that they're mating is going to dwindle down. They are on day number 3. Now, Button's cockatoo, you're wondering if it is true. The darker a male lion's mane gets, the older it is. Not necessarily, because you do get blonde-maned lions out in the wilderness too, that don't just seem to have that dark coloration. So not necessarily true, but the mane does normally only start darkening at about between 5.5 years, and then eventually they'll develop their massive manes. But I love the fact that that lioness has just left her 2 cubs now with the mating pair. Isn't that wonderful? That inner pride, and because the bond between the various members is so strong, you can just leave them with a babysitter. If one doesn't want to go anywhere, well, okay, well, it's your chance to have a look after them. I'm going to go off and do something else now. Well, this is quite cool. This is really lovely. It's nice to see a little lion cub sort of dwarfed up against a big male lion. I think there's nothing quite as precious. And Nsuku seems to be quite a nice dad. He doesn't mind the cubs when they go up to him. Unlike Tinyo, who has very little tolerance from what I saw in the last few months, for the Nguhuma cubs especially. He always used to swat them and growl at them. Mfumo is different. We saw the most amazing behavior with Mfumo, how he would take time out of the day to go up and greet every single lioness, and he'd spend time with them and groom them, and he also tolerated the cubs too. He let them jump on his back and bite his mane. He didn't mind so much. And I think Nsuku's very much like that too. He seems to be quite a placid male lion. I haven't seen him get into too many scraps. Tinyo, I think, is the fighter. We're going to keep playing around here with the lions. Well, they're going to keep playing around us. And I'm going to send you across now to Tristan, who's on foot and finally found some creepy crawlies.
We found a beautiful assassin bug that is being backlit by this beautiful morning light. You can see the sort of rim light on that calyx of that grass, and then the assassin bug on top. And these assassin bugs, you can see, have got quite bright coloration, so they've got those oranges and blacks all over them, and that's all just to tell everybody that they are toxic or venomous, and that they are not something to be eaten or played around with. And that's why this insect can sit right out in the open on this piece of grass and not have to worry too much. But these guys are really quite something. They're, as the name suggests, assassin means that they go after quite a few prey items, and they are quite lethal when it comes to these smaller creatures. So you see them going after like aphids. I've seen them taking flies before, particularly the pirate flies. they get after them quite a bit. So they're quite a nasty creature, and if you get hit by one of these, it is not a pleasant experience at all. They've got this proboscis that extends from the mouth parts, and it goes into you, and it really is quite painful. Now, the wind is playing a bit of havoc, so I'm going to try and just hold the stem for VM. I don't know if that's doing a better job or worse, VM. I think worse. I thought I had a stronger hand than I did, but obviously not. But isn't that beautiful? So even though they're such nasty creatures, they are quite cool to look at, especially when we can get up nice and close to them and see them, all the detail and all the color, and with that rising sun in the back, it is quite a beautiful image. Very, very nice. And I can hear lions, and I can actually hear lions calling in the distance. Now they're not very close. I think they sound like they're somewhere in Buffelshoek or Manyeleti, but they are calling just to the north of us. I wonder who that could be. Oh, John, this is a good question. You're wondering how many different types of assassin bugs we get here. I'm not 100% sure. In fact, you said they are there, so that would be worldwide. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, John. I would have to check it up. I don't know. I think the thing with insects, particularly in the world, is that they're still discovering new ones all the time. So there are some that are probably described and that there's notes on them, but there's still some insects that they find all the time, and the Amazon is a prime example of that. They tend to find new species quite often. So I'm not 100% sure. Here in South Africa, we get this type of one, and then we get one that goes after millipedes, so a millipede assassin, and those are the only real two that we see a lot of. There are more, but those are the two that we see a lot, particularly in the Sabi Sands area. So I'm not 100% sure how many there are throughout South Africa or even throughout the world. It would be quite an interesting thing to look for. Maybe try and see if I can find out for you. Now, we're on walk and we're looking for all the small things, but I think Byron is challenging us because he's got a little flower. So let's go over and have a look.
I have indeed, Tristan, because I've had no luck in finding animals, so I'm looking at flowers now. And these, but what I just found so interesting is this beautiful wild hibiscus. But just have a look around as Craig zooms out. You'll see there's plenty of hibiscus in this little spot. Just this area for some reason. Have a look at all of those flowers around there. And off to the left too. Plenty of them. Lovely to see them, especially with a little bit of golden light coming through at the moment. Very, very beautiful. That light is catching that yellow flower wonderfully. Hold on, I can hear lions. I'm just going to listen. Definitely faint lion calls coming from our north, but now that is in Coral, because we're still on Cheetah Plains. Very, very faint, but quite far away. I was hoping they'd be a little bit louder and a bit closer, but they're not. Now, I did hear something that, so I think they had tracks of lions this morning. Heading in this direction, but we haven't found anything, so they're possibly still in that area around in Coral and not on Cheetah Plains. But fortunately for us, Taylor has got lions to show you. I'm going to head back to Djuma. Let's go to Taylor.